Welcome to BullionMax. I'm Mark Allen, along with Sean Reynolds. He is the customer service manager for BullionMax, and BullionMax, of course, is wholesale metals made easy. Sean, nice to see you again on this episode.
Yes, great to be here again. Here in Oklahoma, you're always so close to having tornadic activity due to the instability of the atmosphere. Okay, well, financially speaking, we're looking at a very similar situation. Market fluctuation is just rampant. It goes up, it goes down. There are rarely good explanations as to why that is. And it costs a lot of distrust in the market for a lot of Americans these days. And when people call and they talk to us at BullionMax, they let us know that is a major concern that they have. You know, they're not sure that their future investments for retirement, their 401k, their IRA, things of that nature are going to be there for them because it's so uncertain. It goes up and it comes down and it goes up and it comes down, but it just still keeps going up and they don't understand what's propping it up. Is that something actual or is this a balloon that one day is going to pop and it's all just going to come crashing down and make those investments they were counting on worth nothing or next to nothing?
You told me a story before we started about somebody in New York. Can you repeat that story?
Yeah. So a friend of mine had been heavily invested in the market for their retirement, and they had $1.2 million invested that they were counting on, and it kept growing and it kept growing and it kept growing. Unfortunately, that company turned out to be Enron.
Oops.
And so they ended up losing absolutely everything. And these were folks who had a beautiful big house in Staten Island. They're ready to retire. They're doing anything and everything they can to try to keep the house now, but it's certainly not going to be because of the retirement investments that they did. They're completely having to start over at 64 and 65.
You also told me about, and I think it relates to this, that it's speculated that at one point, the dollar could be worth zero.
Right. So what causes that concern is this endless spending that the government does. And we never bring the budget back in. We just print more money. And then we spend more money. And then we print more money. And then we spend more money. And this is not a sustainable model. And at some point, it's got to stop. But who knows what's next? But you can bet when that transition happens, the dollar could become virtually valueless. We've seen it in other countries where there is significant devaluation of the dollar. So, one of the ways to hedge against that, obviously, is hard assets to try to help a dollar remain a dollar. But a good example of like legitimate real life concerns of the dollar becoming virtually valueless. Mark, are you familiar with currency in Zimbabwe?
Only in emails that promising me great wealth.
Yes, provided that you give them your social security number and your bank account and all of that, and they'll be happy to transfer you some of that money. Well, if you're from Zimbabwe, don't be too excited if that's $10 million, because their currency, the actual banknotes, are in millions, billions, trillions, and hundreds of trillions. This is walking around folding capital paper money. Okay, so somewhere in the world, the dollar has become valueless. Now, we keep saying such and such won't happen here, and then it still happens. Okay, seeing this Zimbabwe example, and let's face it, most people purchase these banknotes as a joke. It's funny. Here's that 100 trillion I owe you from that pool game we played. I told you I was betting high.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Looking like a baller. No, you're not. The exchange rate is $2.25 American to $3,000 Zimbabwe.
Wow. So an American taking American money to Zimbabwe could live like a king.
Could, location.
Location. Yes, exactly.
However, we love America. We love our American homes and our families
Yes.
and our jobs and our houses and all of that stuff. And so just seeing that somewhere in the world, to have your currency devalue like that and become virtually worthless, it's plausible that it could happen. God
It's
forbid
scary.
It happens here. It is frightening, absolutely frightening, because we work so hard for that money that we get. I mean, let's face it, we've got some people who work 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table. Okay, these folks need the same protection that other people who call us, and folks who call us are everyday people. It's teachers, it's small business owners, it's former military, it's police, it's firefighters, it's all of those guys, and
it's people across the board.
They have the same concerns. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so they're, when that's the concern, well, one of the solutions to that problem is for people to purchase and hold precious metals such as silver and gold, platinum and palladium.
And that's including the coins that are behind you and me, bars and rounds.
That's correct. Precious metals come in all kinds of different variations. I would say the most common thing is a coin. Also, rounds are round shaped, but not coin, meaning they're not backed by a government or printed by or printed by a government. There are a lot of private mints that make great products. They also make bars as well. And as you may well imagine, it's shaped like a bar as opposed to round like a coin. But we've got all of those denominations of things available at BullionMax.com.
Now, we also have to be wary of things. There's been stories about the Chinese, I guess, Chinese eagle.
Ah, yes. Their 2019 is the year that's on them, and they sell for $5.99. Okay. Now, silver currently seems to be market rate is about $24 an ounce. Well, a silver eagle is typically a 1 ounce coin. So if you can buy one for about $6, something's wrong. Come on. If it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Got it.
But for people who have not had a chance to see this, there are a number of things that are just not right with it. Let's say.
In that, Sean, is there any silver at all, or is it just completely?
I don't know. I would love to get one and weigh it, because one of the first steps to know whether or not you have something authentic is to weigh it. There's a certain tolerance, which is teeny tiny, mind you, but it's really difficult for counterfeiters to get something that is the appropriate size to weigh the same when it's not made out of the weight it's intended to be. And silvers, I'm guessing whatever this is going to be light compared to what it ought to be. But there are font problems on there, like the sun rays that come out are just not as defined, I would say, almost a little ghost-like.
It's not a piece of art.
Boy, not like an American eagle at all. Points of definition, like Lady Liberty's hands. She's kind of holding one hand out, kind of welcoming you as she walks, because she's walking Liberty. But you can see the definition on all of her fingers on the standard one. It's more of a flipper kind of thing on the cheap knockoff. And then her hat has great definition, hat of the period. It looks like a do-rag now. Come on.
Oh, my.
You have to be disrespectful. And then you look at the definition of the stars on the map. Now that they actually cranked up the definition on, almost as if to say, USA, USA. No, It's horrible. It's
So you have to be careful when you're buying coins, rounds, bars. You have to be careful and buy from people who are not only knowledgeable, but are part of the Better Business Bureau. They have ratings and standards. And that brings us to BullionMax, wholesale metals made easy, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If you go to the website.
What I like about us making things easy is it's easy to find what you're looking for on our site. If you're looking for coins, you can sort by coins. If you want to break that down to gold coins, look at gold coins. If you have a particular mint that you like, say you like the Perth mint, okay, go ahead and make that choice. And we'll show you everything we currently have in stock. We are constantly adding new products all the time, but we're not going to get to the level of collector stuff where Emperor Nero at one point sneezed on this coin and now it's graded. And that's a little too esoteric for the type of collector things we will have someday. But what's great is since we won't have those things, it's not going to be a cluttered site where you have to sift through those things you don't want to see.
And there's also a lot of information that'll help you make your buying decisions. Just go to BullionMax.com. That's BullionMax.com. Very simple, very easy. And you can learn about your opportunities in investing in precious metals of all kinds. And as Sean has said, as the customer service manager, he talks to people every day, and you can call and find out answers to questions that you may have. Sean, let's move on and continue our conversation here. We've talked about inflation in our previous episode. Let's just hit on that a little bit. Precious metals are a hedge against inflation, and can you explain that?
Yeah, that's the terminology we tend to use when talking with people who are really concerned about the value of today's dollar and the value of tomorrow's dollar. So what precious metals can do when you purchase them, you're hedging against that idea that something is going to completely lose its value. So when you have these precious metals, and you'll see that it's a market-based product, so that kind of tends to dictate what its current value is. Over time, metals have gone up. Now, what's interesting is in the span of the last 6 years, gold and silver have virtually doubled. Gold backed off of where it was a little bit and seems to be pretty comfortable, about $1,800 an ounce. But silver certainly did double. When I started in the business that first Christmas, $10.75 is what silver traded for, and now it's around $2,400, pretty comfortably, kind of weaving up and down around that $24 mark.
That's more than doubled.
Yeah, it has.
Silver is more than double.
Now, that's not typical in the history of any of the precious metals, though palladium has certainly had a pretty good run in the past few years. And at one point, platinum traded higher than gold. You have a platinum record, that's better than having a gold record. Well, the reason why was the precious metal was more valuable at the time. So I wonder if they'll change that.
I don't know.
Consistency is sometimes a hard thing to maintain over time. But it's something you can come to count on. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'll tell you what, we are not going to go back to a time when silver is $10.75 an ounce. I don't see that happening, given how it is used in creation of solar panels and how it's going to be used in electric cars, making sure you've got good connections on all those batteries. And they're not going to be small ones, they're going to be big ones. So that's going to use a lot of silver to do that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So even the increased usage of that in an industrial capacity supports that material really, really well. And gold has similar applications in its line in finer duty than silver, but also, it's not needed in the kind of chunky quantities that silver is.
As people are looking at or considering precious metals of all kinds, as we've discussed. Many of them have 401ks, IRAs. Can IRAs become? Can you convert an IRA to precious metals?
There are a couple of different ways that you can do that. One would be certainly to convert your IRA or your 401k to cash. Now, there may be some tax implications about that. Talk with your tax advisor about that. And then purchase metals and then hold them. Or there are opportunities to roll a 401k over into a precious metals IRA or some other similar product. And we've got partners who do that, but we do not do that personally. Those are becoming really quite popular because people want their future assets to be hard assets. They want to make sure those dollars stay dollars, and they're not going to have that Enron experience where all of a sudden I bet on the wrong horse seems to be the outcome, unfortunately.
It's and even taking a look at the stock market, stock market's a gamble. It's like going to Vegas because it goes up and down all the time.
Especially if you don't really watch it that closely. Absolutely. The 2004 is absolutely frightening, the big chunks of losses and losses and losses. And when you cash out, you realize the loss. Now, a bunch of those people who were able to ride it out, sure, it came back, but look at how long it took for it to come back. That's not comfortable. As Americans, we have too short of an attention span for that. That's where we start to dive out and go, nope, get out now, get out. And you realize the loss, and then you watch it go back up, and then you just face palm because you can't believe you just did that.
And let's take a look at what's called the market correction. The stock market drops. Maybe 1,000 points, 500 points.
Did the other
goes
day.
Back up. Maybe it goes back up slowly, but it's called a market correction. Do we have anything like that with precious metals to start?
Well, you have a much smoother ride to begin with, so you don't see nearly the daily volatility. Now, there are going to be things that will impact the market. Say, for example, the day the big government package was signed for infrastructure, that got everybody's attention. That got the stock market moving. That got the metals market moving. But I'll tell you what: 3 days later, we're back to where we were. We were, back to being steady Eddie. So the volatility. You may see more ups than you see downs in metals, at least from those sharp things that happen. But then, say, for example, I was saying earlier, gold seems to be pretty comfortable around $1,800 an ounce. Okay, I can't tell you the last time I saw it go down to 16 since it's been here. Okay, so it seems to be pretty established about where it is. Now, you could see a spike that's like, tomorrow where you see the snapshot by your head there says about 1850. If it goes to 1890, are you shocked or are you not shocked? It's not a huge percentage overall, but it gets you closer to another $100. Gold's really going up there, but it's nowhere near the percentage of change that you tend to see in the stock market, especially if you get down to the level of particular stocks. Holy cow, that's a wild ride. And that's where my hair went.
You used to
not anymore. Not anymore. I don't have more to lose. So
got it. I get it. Hey, listen. One of the things that we should talk about is the fact that the types of people who are buying precious metals are across the board, and they have different needs and different wants, right? You've mentioned a few moments ago, teachers and firefighters, but it's just Joe and Jane average, really, who are looking to diversify so that they don't have that all their eggs in one basket scenario that you mentioned earlier.
Right. And I would say we're getting more and more new people into metals now than we ever have. And I think it's those pressures are becoming so real and so significant that they feel they need to act. And, It's good to see people do that. Also as Americans, we like to talk a lot, but we don't necessarily do anything. Okay.
Well, Americans, I'm sorry, Sean, Americans typically are not savers.
No. Oh, heavens, no. No. So I totally recognize this is something that is hard to do. So when I hear from people who want to maybe cash out a 401k or an IRA and get precious metals, it's because they've got a chunk of money sitting somewhere that they want to reinvest. But we're starting to hear from people who are like, I need to make this happen, and I want to make regular purchases as I get money because I understand I need to do this. And kudos to them for stepping up and creating a plan and executing that plan. And I almost get parental about it with our clients because I'm so proud of them for setting goals, meeting goals, making those regular purchases, even when maybe they had a reason to talk themselves out of this month's purchase or something like that. But they told me they almost didn't buy, but I'm calling to buy today. And, I love supporting those people as they, like I said, as they set these goals and they execute toward those goals, because more people talk about it and do nothing. And I don't know what they're going to do when the dollar does become valueless, when the market does, that balloon explodes. And now, so much for that money. I love the idea of people making a decision, feeling strongly enough about it that they need to take action. And this is how they're going to protect their family. This is how they're going to keep their house. And
this is how you can do that by visiting the BullionMax.com website, BullionMax.com. It's an easily traversed website. There's all kinds of information there to help you with your buying decisions. And of course, a lot of people already have a decision. They've already made the decision. They just don't know where to go, how to start. And the people at BullionMax, with Sean Reynolds, can help you make that decision and implement that decision. Go to BullionMax.com. That's BullionMax.com. As we're talking about this, something popped into my head, and where do I start?
It's a great question. If you don't know, obviously looking at the information that's out there to give you a feel for the different products that are available, our informational pages are also quite helpful. But if you just say, hey, I've been listening to people on the radio, and this is really common, I've been listening to people, what they're saying on the radio, I have the following concerns. Sean, can you help me? I love having those conversations with them. So if they can't find the information they need, they're certainly welcome to give us a call. We're here to help. We're not going to provide investment advice per se, but if you're a purchaser, we'll help you facilitate a purchase. Absolutely. Give us a feel for what your goals are. Are you looking to just accumulate ounces now? Are you looking for something that might be have more of a collector value in the future? Are you looking to do both of those things? Okay. I know right where I would direct you in that particular situation. So if you are not feeling confident because you don't know what to buy, give us a call. If you reach me, I'll be happy to walk you around, show you what I like, tell you why I like it, why other people who are saving like you are buy this as well. And then you decide whether or not that makes sense for you.
You have a couple of recommendations for first-time buyers, beginners, starting with Silvertown Buffalo Bar?
The Silvertown Buffalo Bar and or the Round are great ways to start. they have some of the lowest acquisition costs that are out there. So for people who are just trying to get some ounces, that is a great start. And I also recommend they typically try to hit any pricing tiers. So for example, the Buffalo rounds come in a tube of 20. Well, we have a small price break at 20. So I would recommend if you're looking at 15, 17, get 20. Take that extra 30 cents off or whatever it is per coin and save that. And then you also...
That's like getting almost getting a coin for free.
Practically, yes.
Practically, almost.
There are situations where that may work out, or just, again, helping you cost average what you have, because that's an important thing to do. You want to consistently make purchases. Sometimes this week's going to be more expensive than next week. When it's down, just there's going to be an average. Just keep buying on a schedule and you'll be good. But those are great starter products. So then from there, what I like to do is say, okay, so let's find something that may have a little more of an appeal when you go to sell this, because not everybody thinks an ounce of a precious metal is an ounce. They might say, hey, those bars and rounds are just as valuable to me as your coins are. Okay, well, they're going to kind of disrespect your coins in the offer they make you. But for every one of those guys you're going to sell to, you're going to find someone who doesn't really like bars and rounds, but they love coins.
Right.
Okay. In that situation, it's helpful to have some coins in your investment portfolio then. But for that purpose, I love maple leafs. Kangaroos from Australia are great. The Philharmonics from Austria. That's right, from the land of Arnold. I got my Philharmonics. I am investing. I have silver now. So,
Can you do a kangaroo too?
Yeah. Are you trying to tell me to shut up?
No, I'm just.
They make a noise. I don't know what it is, but I'm not about to do an Aussie. So, because that would be really bad, worse than my Arnold. So, but having a variety of things is great, because whoever you're selling to may have a lot of one thing, and if that's all you have, they may not want to take on all you have to sell, or give you full price. I'll take all of it, but I can only buy it for X, and you may not like that price. So it is good to have a variety of things. And so that's where we offer a number of things in that reasonable price point that are coins. Coins are gorgeous.
Let's talk about locking in a long-term purchasing power, if you will. And I think that's important to discuss, especially for people who have not purchased any heavy metals or precious metals yet. Right?
Right. And it really is a buy and hold situation, because you're not necessarily looking at market value increases in the market to be how you're going to make your money. When you're in this protection mode and you're hedging against the dollar, you just want to make sure that you're not losing money. Your dollars aren't losing money. Over time, sure, your metals are going to increase in value. They will. But it's a slow and steady movement. Yes, silver did double within the past 6 years, but that's not typical in its history. We don't know what the future holds. We don't have a crystal ball, but I just know we're not going back where it was worth significantly less. Okay, I can't say that about a dollar, about a paper dollar. I can't say that about a stock, but I can say that about precious metals. There's enough information there. And because it's a commodity, a traded commodity, that it's always going to have some kind of value.
It's a steady growth, at least so far. And as fears of inflation are featured in the news almost every day, this is that hedge that we've talked about against inflation. helping people to maintain a long-term purchasing power.
Yes, it's that maintenance and protection that you're really looking at. If the market does you solid and silver doubles in a few years, awesome. That's not really the way I view it to be utilized as an investment, but who knows? Who knows? If that happens, that's great. Then my guys who just started, who are working on ounces, are going to be happy that ounces are what they focused on and not so much on the collector stuff, because they would have been rewarded for the number of ounces that they have if market movement happens. Okay. Again, we can't predict that. So you can only make your best guess to balance out your metals, just like you do any other portfolio, with some lower acquisition things, some things that are a little more collector or numismatic, and then some things that you bought because you like it. It may not be what you normally buy from an investment perspective, but I also encourage people to have fun, make some choices. Coins are beautiful. So
they're art.
They are art.
They absolutely
are art. I love the Queen's Beast coins from the Royal Mint, whether they're in the 2-ounce format. That's a lot of detail in there. I'll tell you what, you get the 10-ounce. That's a little bigger, maybe coaster size. When you can see the detail that went into that artwork, it blows you away. It makes you feel good. It's kind of like looking at something like a shiny gold buffalo proof. You look at it and you just smile. You go, that is gorgeous. Okay. That's out there too, folks. I mean, when we talk about investing and protecting and all of that stuff, that's really heavy stuff.
And at the same time, those collectibles, people want them. And they do increase in value.
Absolutely. And those can make great gifts. You never know. There are all kinds of reasons why collectibles are out there. I've found for myself, whenever I have something collectible, I never have the right buyer for whatever it is I have. So I learned years ago when I was collecting records, kind of my mentor said, Sean, don't buy stuff because you've heard it's going to be worth money. Buy what you like, because you may never sell it. You may never get rid of it. And in that situation, if you like it, you can never go wrong. And I think the same is true of some of the precious metals, more collectible type of things.
Sean, thank you.
Like it, you can't miss.
Sean, thank you very much for sharing your insight on precious metals today. We really appreciate it. And if you're watching, I encourage you to visit BullionMax.com. That's BullionMax.com. There's a lot of information there that'll help you make your decision and finalize your decision so that you're not wishing, you're not waving, you're in. And it'll show you a variety of precious metals from rounds and bars and coins that you can purchase. And as I said, I think a lot of this is just really beautiful. Sean Reynolds, the customer service manager for BullionMax, has been our guest, and we'll look forward to our next venture together.
I look forward to it as well, Mark.
Okay, I'm Mark Allen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.